Hello there. Okay then. Last week I was doing some refactoring. Um, I was trying to clean up all of the code I'd written for grabbing stuff out of the database, basically, and returning it to servant. I actually watched back a little bit of the recording to check that the volume was okay, and then on my new computer. And I kind of jumped randomly to it a little bit quite early on, where I was saying, I hope I don't hit some circular dependencies here. And then, of course, at the end of the stream, I did hit circular dependencies. So my attempts to refactor turned out to be a little bit of a mess. Well, not a mess, but they hit a dead end. So what I want to do today is go back to where we were before and see if I can continue to refactor. So I want to move all environment-related code together and all of the booking code-related code together. But to do that without introducing a circular dependency. So yeah, that's the aim. And then I'm going to try and pull out some of the environment-specific routing code as well. In fact, all of the routing code I'd like to split up and put into the relevant files so that I end up with a main file which is just booting servant, basically, like importing the things it needs and booting servant, and a booking file which deals with all of the booking related stuff, and an environment file which deals with all the environment related stuff. So that's the aim. But I need to work out this dependency thing before we go any further. So let's just jump into it. Okay, so I have this code from last week, and what was going wrong, I think, is when I load the environment, I'm trying to show the environment status. So I need to show whether it's booked or it's available. And in order to do that, I need to, I think it's down here somewhere, I need to look up the bookings. So this code in the environment stuff needs to know about bookings. So I've imported the booking stuff into this file, I think. Up here, I probably am importing, I'm importing the booking so I can get back to the current list of bookings, which is kind of fine, but in booking, I'm referencing the environment ID at this point. And this is a little bit, well, I mean, this environment ID doesn't exist in this file anymore. So in order to fix that, I would need to say something like import environment. And I can just import the environment ID, that's fine. But before I type any more, you can see the cyclic dependency here. So environment is importing booking and booking is importing environment. Okay, so I was thinking about this. One way to do this would be to put db back in place. So I could have a file called db, and this could contain db.hs. This could contain the booking and the environment tables. And maybe as well, it could contain sort of basic lookup and store functions. Right, so there'd be no logic in there, but you could say something like, get me all of the environments, or get me all the bookings, or get me all the bookings for an environment. Those kinds of functions. Right? No real logic in there, nothing to do with servant, just pure database stuff. And then I could have environment.hs, which would then import db, and then it would have the sort of the servant endpoints. So it might do things like load an environment and then go and load all the bookings for an environment and then map that into the status, that kind of thing. And then you can have booking.hs, and this would import db as well. And again, it had the servant endpoints. But this would probably be a lot more straightforward because I think for the booking stuff, we just fetch and return stuff. So I could do that. But I want to try and avoid doing that if I can. So the reason for that is ideally, I think of these, like the environment and the booking, these two things as being separate parts of my application. And I'd like to be able to extend my application by, maybe we could start by just writing environment and then I'd like to extend it by adding booking to it. And I don't want to put code for booking all over the place. I want to try and keep all of the booking related code together as much as possible. So then I thought maybe I could create a folder called environment, directory called environment. So this would go into the namespace of the module, and then I'd create a DB. So this module would be environment.db, and that would have the database related things to do with the env. So like this stuff, but only for the environment table. And then I could have booking /db. Right, so the namespace for this would be booking.db. The module would be called booking.db. And again, that could have the booking related stuff and the basic lookup stuff to do with bookings. And then also this would import environment.db, because I need that to create the foreign key relationship. But the foreign keys are not circular, right? So I keep doing this. I keep following this approach. It doesn't matter that booking is importing environment as long as I'm not doing it the other way around as well. Then I could have, and this is the only problem I have here is I don't actually know what to call it. So I could have environment / the real thing. I don't know what to call this yet. And this could import, environment.db, because it's going to need it. And it could import booking.db. So it could do things like load all the bookings. But it doesn't need to import the actual booking object, I don't think, but I don't know this for certain. I think we should be okay. So this would, this would import booking.db. I don't think it would depend on anything to do with environment. I call it booking there by accident. Maybe that's not a bad approach, or it's not the worst approach. So I might have something like this. And then in the server app, you import environment, or maybe even we could end up with something like environment routes. I don't think I would. But if the routing got complicated or the server endpoints got complicated, you could look at splitting stuff out like this. So then all the environment code lives together. Right? You're not saying, oh, I need to go and look in a database file, I need to go and look in a model file, I need to go and look in a routing file. You just go to this directory. I might put an R in there just because it's annoying me. You can go to this directory and you can see all of the code to do with the environments, and it's grouped together. Is the left edge of the screen chopped off? It says environment. Oh, I think it might be. Oh, that's not helpful. Ah, that's a bit annoying. No, stop doing that. How is that? And let's just get rid of the browser for now. Don't need it. Hopefully that's better. Oh, it's going to be too short now. Should be something like that, I guess. Is that about right? I hope that's okay. Let me know if it's still chopping off bits of it. I suppose you could guess that the environment should start with an E. Only the DB might have been difficult. Okay, I'm not going to find a separate routes file, I don't think. So I think I want to write something like this. So that's what I'm going to go and try and do. So we go back to here, actually. Oops. Let's bring this up. I'm going to, no, let's hide that for a second. In source, yeah, everything's in source, so I'm just going to create a new folder. Better, still says Ubuntu in the corner. So that bottom corner. Okay. Import rather than port. I can work with that. So let me go back to the file. Let's see that. Actually, I'll bring this window up. I can get a preview. Oh dear, that's not right at all. There we go. So that's that. I can't see the bottom of the preview unless I move. Let me move OBS in front of OBS. That's going to be really, really weird. So many me's. Okay, I think that looks... I wonder what's happened to my layout. That looks like it's filling the space. Okay. Oh no, don't do that. You don't minimize it because it hides the chat. Okay. What a mess. So this is what I'm going to try and end up with. I don't know how much that you saw, but you probably heard me talking about it. Okay, so I'm just going to create a folder in the source called environment. Environment. And I'll just move this into there. Yes, I'm sure. And then I'll create another folder called booking. I'll move booking into there. Okay, it's enough using an IDE. And then so in here, I'm going to fix the module name. I will need to do something about this module, so I'm going to what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this stuff, which is a database related thing, and I'm going to put it in a new file, not a new window. Dear, oh dear, it's not going well today. New file called db. So we will need a whole bunch of language extensions. I don't know which ones. I'll fix that in a second, and then we can say something like module environment.db. Where are these things? Okay, and then we're going to need some imports. So just lowercase as an import. Okay, now it's going to be upset, I think, because Cabal is completely wrong. So we're going to have environment.environment and also environment.db. Oops. And we'll have booking.booking, and we'll have booking.db, and we will soon get rid of the DAO, but not quite yet. Okay, so back into here. I don't know if HLS will recover from this. We shall see. If it doesn't, I'm going to end up... I'll try restarting it. But if it doesn't recover from this, I might have to quit and reopen VS Code, which will be awkward. Okay, it's not happy. Where are my imports to the database? I'm just going to grab all of these. Okay. Okay, what's it missing? So we shouldn't need application stuff yet. We will do in a minute for AppM, I think, and for the connection. Don't think we need the ASIN stuff. Oh, really? We probably need that. Yes, okay. Because I got no implicit prelude. Okay, so that's the just enough code to define the table, which will create the migrations for me as well. And it will also do the serialization and deserialization, so that's kind of cool, I think. I don't want to export these things, environment and environment ID. Environment ID. I'll let it work out. Oh, is it lowercase d? It is. Okay. Why is it not reformatting? That's annoying. I want to format her back because I can't do this by hand. How does it like to do it? Oh, what's happened to my formatter? Oh, because it's still processing. That's why. I wonder if it'll ever finish processing. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to export environment and environment ID. Okay, so in here, I'm just going to do this. Now I'll get rid of the unused extensions. We're going to pull in booking for now. Okay, so we are no longer able to export environment or environment ID. No, but the other ones should be fine. I think they're still in this file. HLS is still very unhappy. Let me just go to booking quickly, and I want to fix the module name. And then in theory here we can say import environment.db. So I got rid of that error, and then let's see if we can. In the Cabal file, what did I do? I put in booking.db and it doesn't exist. That's one of the things which is upsetting it. So I can say module booking.db where now I'm going to grab some definitions. So here okay. So I now need to grab the persistent stuff, I think. Let's go to parser error. That seems a bit strange to me. I just grab all of these for now, but I mean, even though some of them will be unused. And then import prelude, sorry. Okay, it hasn't got persistent. Okay, so I've missed one of the THs. Pop that in. And then not in scope environment ID. So here I should be able to say import environment.db. I will only import the environment ID from there. It should be an environment. Okay. Good. Okay, so it needs UTC time as well, so I'll go and grab that. Is it working enough that I can get it to autocomplete this? Nope. It's not going to help me out at all. Okay, let's go and grab that import. So in there, but the only thing I need from there should be this. Okay, so it's saved. I guess that's good. And then I can come back here and I can just get rid of, oops, this code. And I can get rid of the language extensions. And I can get rid of this and migrate all. Okay, so now in theory I can also import booking.db. And it should give me access to booking and stuff like that. And I don't need to import environment.id anymore, I don't think. Don't know. Just gonna. That's not the tidy up I expected. Okay, I'll not fiddle with that for now. Okay, so I think this file is kind of okay. We still haven't got a definition of this thing, I don't think. And we do down here. Okay, cool. So I can work with this in a moment. So if I go back to my environment.hs, this should be more upset than it is because I'm not importing environment.db. Okay, I'm not getting the errors I'm hoping for here. A little bit annoying. Ah, good. I think this is what I want. Okay. So all the database persist stuff I want to get rid of. I want to move it into the DB file. This data constructor, I think I'm just not exporting it. I am exporting it. I am exporting it now. Okay. So this is loading a single environment, and this is loading multiple environments. And let me go get rid of. Getting rid of all of those for a start. Okay, so we're missing entity, which I will need to pull in. Oh, it still cannot cope. It's really annoying when HLS breaks. It makes me realize just how dependent I was on it. Okay. So in the create environment, I will probably want to do some kind of insert with the data. Yeah, I'll build this object and then pass it in, I think. And then I'll write something for get as well. So I'll add a couple of things into here. So we can say something like insert environment. And this is going to be something that takes an environment. And I guess it's going to return an IO of the ID, which I think is an int64. int64. I'm just going to copy this. Oh, it needs a connection pull as well. Oh, but we could run it under appem, I guess. Yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't run it under the appm, because we want to get stuff out of the config inside there. So then I want to say monad.io in environment to appm in 64. Is it going to import out for me? No. Remember that is, I think it's something like import application appm. Okay. So it's empty do block, and now I think we just say lift.io insert it's just insert e actually, and then we return that. Nah. Oh, it's a run SQL pool. Okay. Oh, that's a bit more complicated then. Is it? Run SQL pool insert, and it needs to pool. Oh, I'm not going to get to be that clever. So the pool comes from asks dbcon. In this case now we need to take the environment and then pool. Oops. But it's like that, I believe. Okay, so much going on here. This is not in scope. So I think we need to pull in dbcon. Okay. Right. So this return type is wrong. Let's get the error again. Sorry, it was trying to return database persist class persistent entity key environment. Okay. So this is going to return, oops, key environment. So key will come from here, I think. Or maybe here. Key. Okay, so that's how I can put something in. So to do the insert, we can just say ID comes from, oops, ID comes from insert, and then the environment, so say environment new environment name E. Right, okay. New environment name E. Okay, and then we want to return it, so I want a new thing, which is like get environment. Which again is going to run under this monad that we're using. Oops. It's going to be a monad.io. It's going to take a key environment, and then it's going to return the environment but running under appm. And that, I think we can say get environment. ID is do. I'm just going to copy this. So just say get ID from pool, and so it could be really.get. Let's not import that. Okay, and this is going to return a maybe environment. Okay, in there. So we get rid of brackets. Now we can't do that for me automatically because it's broken. We need to get the pool. Oops, asks for dbcon. Whoa, wrong thing. Ah. Okay, so we can insert and we can get, and then to join it all together, we're just going to get it. Get environment ID. There we go. Simples, right? Listing environments, I'm just going to write something in the database thing. So these endpoints don't do anything, and that's the reason why they are just talking to the database. Entity is not in scope. Oh, I'm going to need to just grab that line. So we'll go to there, oops, to there, and delete. Okay, and the environment's back in scope. So I'm going to just move the implementation of this basically into the database. So get all environments. There, there. So it's not going to take any arguments, and it's going to return appm and then a list of entity environment. So get all environments is do. So we'll get the pool again, which is asks dbcon, and then just paste that in. Okay. It feels like we have a sort of helper emerging here. So we can just not export this. We can say run db, which is mon.aom. Oh, this might get tricky because I don't know the type of this. What's the type of run SQL pool? It's a little bit complicated. So for all backend, has that kind A, and for all A, sorry. But we don't care about the A because that's in the reader T, so it's just this type. It's the monad unlift IOM backend compatible SQL backend. It's a tricky one to fill in. I wonder if it's got a name, some kind of alias to that. So we don't, I'm going to pass into it this stuff inside the brackets here, but I don't know what type. Let's just give me back. I mean, it's this complicated type. So I'm not going to bother refactoring that. That's too hard for me. Okay. Anyway, we have our insert, get, and get all. I better export those. So we have our insert environment. We have our get environment. And we have our get all environments. Okay, and then jump back to here. Okay, ambiguous thing, it could either refer to environment.db, which seems to make sense, or environment.environment.get environment. Oh yes. Okay, let me clean up my import. So I can say insert qualified, import qualified. So I'll need to say db as db, and all sorts of things will break, but I don't want to prefix this with db, I don't think. Maybe I do. It's not going to take long to do. Okay. For now, let's just implement this as being get environment. Which is going to be db.get environment, I think. ID. We can go to that, and then we can say maybe M is this thing. Okay, everything's a mess now. So this is db.insert. It's not called db.insert, it's called db.createEnvironment. And then we call db.getEnvironment ID. Non-scope db.createEnvironment. What do I call it? I called it insert environment. Okay. Right. List environments has no definition really. We just call db dot get all environments. Okay. Here, this db.getEnvironment, it doesn't want to take an int64, it wants to take an entity. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. It's not that interesting, but this should be an int64. So when the endpoint is called, we will be passed an int64. Not a key environment, but an int64. But when I call this, it gives me back an entity environment, not an int64. So this db.getEnvironment is actually called two different types. There's a get environment where we pass in key environment, and there's get environment we pass in int64. I think these results are the same type, but maybe not. No, it's not the same type because you use from key, I think, to get it out. To SQL key, yeah, I have to SQL key. So in here, in theory, I can say get what we will call here, oops, to SQL key And where does that come from? It comes from here. So start it in, and the only thing we should need is this. Something like that. Okay, cool. Coolish. So we have maybe M coming back. Before I fix this availability thing, I'm just going to return this, and then let's get rid of that for a second. Okay, so this is just it's not doing anything. It's like redundant code. We can use this later, or we'll put some code back in again. Okay, so these are just really boring, cruddy endpoints, basically. But I've moved all the database-related codes out into the DB package. So in booking, this is compile. If it compiles, I'm going to leave it alone for now. Looks like it does. Okay, so oops, not there. If I go back into main, I imagine I'm going to have a fair few errors. So we'll insert qualified booking dot booking as booking. And here we're going to import unqualified environment. I want to re-export environment from here. I think I can just do. And just say that. No, I cannot. Oh, I can, but I just need to qualify it. Okay, I think that works. I think it works. And I'll have to do the same thing in booking as well, because it's not exporting the constructor. So we import booking.db, so we can just re-export the booking. Okay, getting there. So I think the only error I should have left will be to do with migrations. Yeah, so it's calling migrate all. And if I go to here, I might just call this migrate booking. And we'll export that. And we need to export booking in general. And we'll also export migrate booking with that. Okay, I now have a lot more errors, which is not what I expected. So I'm going to have booking db dot migrate booking, and then we'll import that. So up here we can say import qualified booking.db as booking.db. In fact, when we pull environment in, we can also say import qualified environment.db as environment.db. Don't want to qualify actually. I could not bother qualifying it. The only thing I want to get out of here is the migrate. And up here, I'll undo the qualification. But the only thing that we will import from here is the migrate booking. Okay, this doesn't export it. So if I go to the environment DB, it is correct. Migrate environment. Okay, back into main. It's no longer qualified. We will duplicate this line, and we'll also migrate the environment because I've moved that now to its own file. Wonder when this last actually ran. Okay, 6 errors left. Let's go and hunt them down. So this is in booking. Cool. So because it's already broken, let's just break it all the way. Okay, so we will say db.booking. This is going to be very broken. db.booking. Okay, back to 7 errors. Non-scope, so booking m by d. Here where we export. Oh, we're exporting all the booking. Okay, cool. So it's just going to be a case of putting db. Nope. Oh, it's a lowercase b. Is that right? It doesn't feel right. It's not going to be a function, I don't think. No. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is put this back to where it was, but I'm going to do the same thing of moving this into the DB file. So there should be load bookings for environment, or get all bookings for environment. I think it's the way I'm naming things. So get all bookings for environment. And what's happening here? So this is going to take it's going to take an entity, a key environment, and it is going to then return appm, and it's going to be a list. Think of entity booking. Bookings for environment. ID is do, and then we'll just paste that previous code in. We will not paste previous code in because we can't find it. Okay, all bookings. Okay. Right. So what we got here. Call this m by d. We're not going to SQL key it here. We're going to do it outside. Okay, we're going to need to import environment. And we need to import appm. application appm and also dbcon. Okay, it's also going to take a time. Okay, so we'll take the environment ID and we will take a time. Is it getting all the bookings for the environment or just getting the active ones? It's actually active bookings, I think. So env and now. Yeah, because it's selecting them for the env where the start time is in the past and the end time is in the future. Some Siri, we can rename this to active bookings. And we will export that as well. Okay. So back here, current bookings from Ryan's what I called it. Okay. This is going to do very little anymore. So it's just going to call the underlying database thing. Need to get now. And then we just call db.get active bookings from environment. The key is SQL key env and the time is now. It's not SQL key, is it? It's like 2 SQL key. Yeah, 2 SQL key. Okay. Get status. I don't know what this is used for. I'll skip over it. I'm just going to fix the broken things. Okay, list bookings doesn't take. This is the one that's all bookings for the environment, I think. Yeah, it looks to be the case. Okay, so this is going to be get all bookings for environment. Again, it's going to be monolith key environment. And this is going to return appm entity booking. It's going to be very similar to this. Or kind of similar to this. So you get all bookings for environment of env is equal to do, and then just that. So we'll get rid of these. We'll keep the ordering. Right, can we just put this on one line, basically. Okay, and jump back to here, and then the definition of this becomes very boring. It's db.get all. I think I'm not exporting it, am I? Get all bookings for environment. But the type of this is a mess, so now I want it to be Oops. So it's going to take an int 64, I think. Int 64, and it's going to return something running under append that. Okay, I need to convert the key so I can say to SQL key. There we go, I think. Type check, so it must be good. What was slightly interesting here is I didn't have to say that it was monodeo, because this function doesn't care. I think I can probably start to remove that from a lot of places. The thing that calls list bookings is not going to be broken because I've changed the type. Can I delete this? There are no new errors showing up, so it's probably fine. Get status I'm not currently using, I don't think. I'm just going to comment that out. No, I'm not. Yeah, there we go. Okay, create booking. What do we take here? It's going to be similar to the create environment, I think. So I'm just going to grab the type signature from there. We have this type of new booking. Okay. So let's say the type is new booking. I'll define in a second. And then it's going to be append, whatever the m is, we don't care. That. Okay, and it's going to do the insert and then the get. Oops. Because we don't, yeah, the conversion is something to worry about. We'll just return the type of maybe DB booking. Okay. So we're going to create a new booking. And what we're going to pass in, so we're going to need the env ID, and the from and the to and the second and stuff. Okay. In fact, let's get rid of that. So booking and then basically all of these things. But not with the pool. So we're going to call insert booking with that. And then we are going to get the booking back from that ID. And we won't map the type or anything, we'll just return it. But we do need the where clause, I think. So we're going to work out the to and the from. Just the to, sorry, the from is passed in. We're not going to grab the thou either, so this type. Data new booking is new booking. And then what have we got inside here? So it's got env ID. We will call this new booking. Oh, we have to do our JSON stuff as well. Didn't really want to do this now, but I'm kind of caught up in it. Do you know what? I should be able to do this later, so I can get the new booking, but we can say that we're going to have the m by d, which is going to be an int 64, and it's got b, which is a booking, so I can get rid of that later, but for now we can keep it in place. We don't have to pull. So in theory that should just work. But I need to write insert booking and get booking. So I'm just going to copy them out of here and then change the word environment to booking, basically. Alt-O, no. Shift-O, yeah. So this is going to be booking. And it's going to take key of booking. And it's going to return maybe booking. And we will hide get. Okay. And then insert environment. Will be insert booking, and it's going to take a booking and return a booking, and then that's it, isn't it? And then we'll export this insert booking, get booking. I really wish my formula was working. It's making me very sad. No type errors there. If we go back to booking, interesting, it was come back. I'll get to this in a second. So, no instance from one of them arising from decent possible fix. Add monad m to the signature. Okay, so I do need to say at least monad, but probably monad IO. Oops. I thought maybe it'd work it out and kind of say the function you're calling requires it, therefore I'll implicitly add it here, but it's not doing that. Okay. So I've written these, but I've probably broken main in more interesting ways. So these things like list bookings, create booking, I'm exporting here. I can just use these in here. So in theory, I could just import these and use them here. I think. Oh, I'm missing that error, but I'll worry about that later. Comment that for a second. So we don't have list or create booking. So I will import. Oh, I've already imported as qualified. Okay, cool. So I should be able to just use that. In theory, I can say booking.that, and then booking that, and then we got some type errors because I'm returning different things now. So in the bookings is entity booking at booking. That should be okay, I think. And then to create it, return booking.booking. Is that correct? So entity booking.booking. We're getting it. should be okay, I think. A list of entity, when this gets DB booking, but I'm re-exporting it. List of entity booking. Yeah, that should be okay. But for creation, it's a maybe DB booking. Right, okay, so it's, oops. Maybe that. Oh, so close. Okay. This DAO ID. Nope. This DAO ID, I can just replace with int64. I could go and update the type, but I don't really want to. 0 errors. There we go. Okay, it's exhausting, but I think. Can I stop the language server? And then if I restart it, will it work? That's the correct error. That's good. Fan is spinning up because it's doing some work, which is also good, I think. Don't know what state it's in though. Such a mess. All this comes out of code. It's still processing. What file cannot process this one? Don't save. What else have we got? Everything actually compiled okay, I think. Okay, I don't know why it's not working, but here, using stack or compile, I think we're using stack. Does it build? Let's try that. Impressive. Am I running Docker? Don't think I am. Doesn't sound like it fans have spun up, so I'm guessing I wasn't. Can I bring it terminal? Haskell bookie, and then just Docker close up, I guess. Yeah, that's cool, I think. Okay, so can I say stack run? Says it's running. And let's curl. Let's get rid of -v because we don't want that. And oh, that doesn't go to the end of the line. We can then pipe this to JQ and make it bigger. Okay. So we have, well, we are listing our environments. I guess that's good. So environments /1 should get me back staging, and then 2 should get me back that, and then environments 1 bookings. Cool, that still works. Okay, so there's 1 booking for here, and then no bookings for environment 2. That's cool. Okay, so I'm getting there, I guess. I now have this environment file, which looks kind of right to me. I can start now to work on the availability stuff. So I should now be able to run a query that's in the booking DB without creating a circular dependency, because it's not pulling in this file. This file is a sort of interface to servant. And yeah, I can start to flesh this out a bit and add some extra logic. And then I can also come into here and I can just tidy this up a bit so that we'll get rid of all the unused code, I guess, because that should all be in the environment file. but I can get rid of all the DAO stuff. I can create this type, which is new booking, and put stuff into there. But I think that's all for next week. So I've got rid of my circular dependency. I've written a lot of code and moved some code around. So I guess I'm happy. Yeah, and then next week we'll come back and we will add back some of the more interesting code to do with checking the availability of an environment as we load it. I can also look at, I think, look ahead, but I really want to move these routes into the environment.hs file, and then these ones into the bookings.hs, and then the server I want to say environment handlers, and then join them to the booking handlers. That's what I'd like to do. I don't know what this is. It's probably not used anymore. But then I'm hoping that the definition of main will then become quite short. It's just this boilerplate stuff of setting everything up and then calling server. That's my hope. Okay, but we'll see how it goes next week. So yeah, thanks for watching along. And yeah, next week we should have hopefully some fun putting interesting code back in and tidying things up. Cool. Hopefully see you then. Goodbye.